ahead, Scott. Say hi.
Hi, hello, everybody. Indeed, wow. It's
Time.
so long. It is time.
How many people are here?
David, who do you have your side for?
My mother-in-law, Goldie
And what is her last name?
Michelson. She's on the list.
Yes, she is. Okay. Why don't we?
Yesterday and today.
Very good. David, why don't you read for us, lead us on the Ashrei, page 164, if you please.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moshe, you want me to responsively or just read the
No,
whole
just go ahead. You can read the whole thing. Lead us in the whole thing. Just take your time. Don't rush.
Yeah. Ashrei shevetecha od yalelucha sela. Ashrei shekachalo. Ashrei shadonai Elohav. Tehillah David. Arumim chalai hamelech. Vavracha shimcha leolam vaed. Bechol yom avachecha. V'alala shimcha leolam vaed. Gadol Adonai umhulal meod. V'ligdulato ein cheker. Dor ledor yishabach maasecha. Uguratecha yagidu, hadar kavod hodecha, v'divrei nifraotecha asicha, v'zuz noratecha yomeru, ugdulatcha asaprena, zecher avtuvcha yabiu, v'tzidkotcha yaranenu, chanun vrachum Adonai, erech apayim ugdol chased, tov Adonai lakol, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav, Yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasidecha yevarchucha, kevod malchutcha yomeru, ugvuratecha yedaberu, lehoder livnei ha'adam gevurotav, ukevod hadar malchuto, malchutcha malchut kol olamim, umemshatecha bechol dor vador, somech Adonai lechol hanoflim, וזוקף לכל הכפופים, עיני כל אליך יסברו, ואתה נותן להם את אוכלם בעיתו, פותח את ידיך, ומשפיע לכלך רצון, צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו, קרוב אדוני לכל קוראיו, לכל אשר יקראו באמת, רצון יראיו יעשה, ואת שבתם ישמע ויושיעם, שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל הרשעים ישמיד, תהילת אדוני ידבר פי, ויברך כל בשר, שם קודשו לעולם ועד, ואנחנו נברכיה, מעתה ועד עולם, hallelujah.
Thank you, David. That was beautiful. What a beautiful psalm we have in Ashrei, of course. I wanted to take just a quick minute before we do the Kaddish. David, would you share with us one thing about your mother-in-law whose yahrzeit is today?
Yeah, so my mother-in-law, my father-in-law had a massive heart attack at age 43. And from that time on, and probably before, although I don't know, my mother-in-law did for everybody and either did for herself last or didn't do for herself. That's who she was. She spent her whole life taking care of her husband and her children and everybody else, and gave very little public attention to taking care of herself. When she died, Joel Zaman gave a eulogy and only talked about her. Didn't mention her brothers, didn't mention her children. He gave her herself at the end.
Wow.
You know, and that's who he was, Zichrono Livracha, but that was, his payback for the way she lived her life.
Thank you. I have a feeling we could have a whole semester on just that one story as what lessons are to be learned here. But thank you, David, for sharing. Thank you. And thank you for honoring a memory of a wonderful woman. Murray, do you mind if we take a moment and have you share with us a thought about Mom?
Well, thank you. Mom had a very interesting life, living here her whole life, married to my dad, who's on here 69 years, and he's been remarkable in these last two. And she left a beautiful legacy and three other generations, almost all of them here in town. And so I'm very honored that you asked me to speak about her, but I'm very proud of the way she lived her life. Thank you.
Thank you. What would be one thing that you learned from your mother that stands out as a...
You know, my mom didn't let people's titles, degrees, any of that impact on how she felt about people. It was about their values that she cared about. And I was always very proud of her about that. And she saw value in everybody. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I believe maybe one day we will all meet and speak of the service will be, besides the traditional one, where we speak of the persons that are in our life, that gave us life. And then we'll say Kaddish de Rabbanan. But that time isn't now. We will continue. And Sandy, it's so good to see you, dear. Evening. We recall our loved ones who gave us life and shared life with us, whose yortzeit is today, the 19th of Adar, Wednesday, March the 3rd, 2021. We recall their names. They're inscribed in our hearts and our souls, and are listed in the perpetual memorials of Chizuk Amuno Congregation. Bernard Berger, Frida Bukowitz, Deborah Kraken, Susan F. Garten, Barry Goodman, Michael Hofberger, Bernard Chandorf, Max Yaffe, Alan Kleiman, Ralph Levin, Goldie Mickelson, Albert Rosen, Philip Shermack, Shirley Tabakman Teitler, and Zavalu Yusufov. Yortzeit and Mourner's Kaddish, page 198. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma tivrach chirutei ve'amlich machutei, b'chayechon v'yomeichon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv ve'imo amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah
Mevarach le'olam omei omaya. Yitzbarach v'yitztabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitzremam v'yitznaseh. Yitzhar v'yitzaleh v'yitzaleh shemei v'kudashah v'yitzur. La'elohim kol berchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata Damram v'yamah v'yimaru amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabbi Shemaya, Hayim Aleinu v'Yakol Yisrael v'Yimaru Amen. Oseh Shalom v'Mama, Oseh Shalom, Aleinu v'Yakol Yisrael v'Yimaru Amen.
And good evening. I have a feeling soon we will have a full mincha, but today is not the day yet, so we will continue with the Arvit service. I'm going to ask Andrew, are you ready to do, or you're comfortable doing the Arvit service? You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm in Ala Driarden on the side of a road, so I cannot,
Okay.
I just pulled over and
Absolutely.
I can see you, but that's it. Thanks,
Thank
though.
you. Of course, absolutely. And let me see. Jackie, you're not, Hillary, you have your side. Are you, did you ever lead services for Myriv? No. Okay. Well, now's not the time to learn. Susan, would you please lead us? We're on page 200. We rise, page 200 for the Arvit service.
Rachum Yechaper Avon Velo Yashli V'hir Bala Shiva Po Velo Yair Kol Chamato Adonai Oshia Hamelech Ya'anenu V'yom Vareinu Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach
Baruch Adonai Amvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
May be seated.
El Chai V'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Ha'ma'ari V'Aravim.
Amen. We're at the bottom of page 200. Ahavat Olam Beit Israel.
Va'avatecha al tatzir mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael.
Amen.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Yavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol miyadecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavacha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha v'letecha v'derech uv'shavtecha uv'kumecha ukashartam liot al yodecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha v'ya. L'man yirbu yamechem v'imei b'nechem al hadama asher nishba Adonai lavotechem latet lahem ki mei hashamayim al haaretz.
Page 204.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'yomarta alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei bigdeihem l'dorotam v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf b'til techelet v'yalachem l'tzitzit Uritem oto, u'schachtem et kol mitzvot Adonai, va'asitem otam, v'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei nechem, asher atem zonim achareihem, leman tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotoi, v'tem kadoshim leloechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, v'ot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet.
Hillary, would you recite the English paragraph in the middle of page 205? We affirm the truth.
We affirm the truth that he is our God, that there is no other, and that we are his people Israel. He redeems us from the power of kings, delivers us from the hand of all tyrants. He brings judgment upon our oppressors, retribution upon all our mortal enemies. He performs wonders beyond understanding, marvels beyond all reckoning. He has maintained us among the living. He has not allowed our steps to falter. He guided us to a triumph over mighty foes, exalted our strength over all our enemies. He vindicated us with miracles before Pharaoh, with signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. In wrath, he smote all of Egypt's firstborn, bringing his people to lasting freedom. He led his children through divided waters as their pursuers sank into the sea.
Go on.
Should I keep going?
Yes, please.
When his children beheld his might, they sang in praise of him, gladly accepting his sovereignty. Moses and the people of Israel sang great joy to the Lord.
Malchuto b'rotzon kiblu alehem, Moshe v'nei Yisrael l'chanu shira, v'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Narati lo dozet pele. Malchut charabanecha bokei ayom lifnei Moshe. Ze Elianu v'yamru. Adonai olam ba'ed. V'nemar kipad Adonai et Yaakov. Ugalo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Go'al Yisrael.
Amen. Hillary, on top of page 207, the top paragraph, please, in English.
Help us, our Father, to lie down in peace and awaken us to life again, our King. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. You, O God, guard us and deliver us. You are a gracious and merciful King. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace, now and always. Praised are you, Lord, eternal guardian of your people, Israel.
Ushemor tzeitenu, uvoenu l'chaim u'shalom me'ata v'ad olam. Baruch atah Adonai, shomer amo Yisrael la'ad.
Amen.
Baruch Adonai le'olam amen v'amen.
We are in the middle of page 206.
Ki hamalchut shelcha hi, ul'amei ad timloch b'chavod, ki ein lanu melech ela ata, baruch ata Adonai, melech b'chvodo tamid yimloch aleinu li'olam va'ed, v'al kol ma'asa.
Amen. We rise, Chatzi Kaddish, the bottom of 208.
Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'yamad yivrach yirutei, v'yamlich machutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon, v'chayedecho beit Yisrael, v'agalav yizman kari v'yamru amen.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba v'vorach, le'olam le'olam le'omaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudesha, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tishbachata v'nechemata, damiran b'yama, v'yimeru.
Amen. Amen. We turn to page 210 for the Amidah, 210 to 11, and we recite the Amidah silently, speaking to God directly.
We continue with Kaddish Shalem on page 222. Yekada v'yekada shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yamad yivrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yamechon u'chayedecho be'Yisrael b'agala v'zman karim v'yamru amen.
Amen.
Yehi
Yeheshme.
Rabbo mevorach v'yolam
Olam Yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalah shmei l'kudashah Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tishbachata v'nechemata damiran b'yama v'yimeru
Amen.
tikabal tzlaton v'utan v'chol Yisrael kadama v'uhandi v'shmaya v'yimeru
Amen.
Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mrama Yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol
Kol Yisrael v'yimehu.
Yisrael. Amen. Aleinu
Shabeach Ladu Hakol Tegedva Liotzer Vaishi
Shalom
Shalom Asanu Tigre
Atzmut
La'atzot Velo Samanu Kamishpachot Hadama
Shalom
Sanu Tigre
Ve'goram
Velo Aleinu Kachol
Hamanam Vanachnu
Hamadam
Karim
Mishpachim
Umishtachavimu Modim
לפני מלך מלכי המלכים,
הקדוש ברוך הוא. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. נאמר, והיה אדוני למלך הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Susan, thank you for the Arvit service. And just a reflection on the time we are in. In several weeks, less than a month, we will celebrate Pesach, the liberation and the birth of the Jewish people. And included in this wonderful tradition is the tradition that when we say Kaddish, we connect with a power, with a force, with a presence that absolutely continues beyond death. Death does not have the last and final word. We live in a dimension of eternity, and we are part of it. And through connection with tradition, we maintain and sustain that relationship. And I'm saying this as I reviewed the names on the list, and it's a long list. Sandy, how many years since Barry passed? 2 years. And it's so for all of us, as we know, there's this contradiction, paradox. It seems so long ago, and it seems as if it was just yesterday. And it brings us back to where we are this moment, the moment of Kaddish, the moment of consecration, the moment of saying that the life that we live has a dimension that absolutely resides in the infinite, the omniscient, the omnipotent, and we are not simply left alone. We are much more than individuals living an individual life. We're connected organically to the transcendent. The following names are listed in our perpetual memorials at Chizuk Amuno. They are people who gave us life and shared life with us and continue to inspire and grace our own life. Their names are inscribed in our hearts and our souls, in our memory, and are listed in the perpetual memorials of Chizuk Amuno. Your site is the 20th of Adar, Thursday, March 4th, 2021. Jesse Baker, Henry Cohen, Isidore Frank, Joseph Goldstein, Jonas Greenblatt, Ernest Jandorf, Ethel Klein, Barry Lever, Lily Levy, Clara Manikin, Jacob Rosenblum, Solomon Sandler, Minnie Schimmel, Doris Schwartz, Abraham Schwartzman, Charles Voloshin, Mary Wiener, and Toby Wiseman. Yortzeit and Mourners Kaddish, page 226.
Moshe,
Yes.
we also recall Layla Goldberg and Daniel Janoff.
Layla Goldberg, let me write this down for tomorrow. And who was the other name, please?
Daniel Janoff, Marshall's brother.
Right. Yortzeit and Mourners Kaddish, page 226. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמור אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה לאמירם בעמה ואמרו אמן יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיו והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. This concludes our evening service. Tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, we will be together at 7:30. Leslie, wanted to say something? You're muted.
She was just saying goodbye to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No,
That was my
wonderful.
done.
Good evening to all of you, and we wish you a sweet evening and beautiful creatures that are sitting in your lap. We see it, Shelley. It's wonderful.
I just
Who's got-
want to say that Barry would be so happy. He never got to see his great grandchild, but Shelley was kind enough to bring him on Zoom tonight.
Beautiful.
Actually, his name is Makai Bear and
Baruch Dove, named after my dad.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
he,
Beautiful.
he I just wanted to say he loved many things, but he loved his family the most.
Of
That was
course.
the thing that was most important to him, and he's looking down now and seeing little Makai, and I know he's very happy.
About you.
Shelley, as you know, Barry saw many things we didn't.
Oh, thank you.
His great grandchildren. In any case, we enjoy and delight in your presence.
It's bedtime. So we're
Yes, it is. See you tomorrow at 7:30.